Hey, howdy do? I'm Iru399 and this is the GTA 5 chat show, and we're going to be analysing a few more of the screenshots that were out a little while back. But I'd like to give you a bit of an information thing before we go any further. This channel isn't for the fastest and best analysis ever or news or whatever. I get the news out there, which is the screenshots, the trailers, the previews or whatever, and then later on I go through and I give my own take on it. And that's essentially what this is. It's more of an impressions, opinions, what I can see, what I can't see, and then everybody kind of mucks in. So don't expect the best of the best here. I mean, there are channels that go around claiming that, but I call bullshit occasionally, but that gets me in trouble. So either way, we're going to be looking at a few of these today, and this one here is of Franklin, I believe. You can tell what he's wearing, and the shape of how he is. It's obviously not Michael or Trevor. He's carrying a shotgun of some kind. I'm not entirely sure where you'd be able to get hold of one of those, but obviously ammunition or something. I'd like to say that we are on a boat. Now that's a big claim, considering we can't see very much because there is a bright light blocking essentially and hazing everything around us. The way I know is by putting this effect on here, alright, and it doesn't change very much at all, okay, you wouldn't think so, but it has changed enough for us to be able to see what's going on in the bottom right of the screen. You can see water, okay, and then a little bit more to the right, as you go up on the image, you can also see a platform. And then, you can see an entire bridge, which makes you think, doesn't it? Well, where's that water going? It's obviously perhaps near the docks. It might not be in the docks exactly itself. In fact, yeah, I'm going to say it's in the docks. I'm going to make a bold claim and say that this is in the docks. That light is trying to train itself on Franklin because he's obviously been spotted of a gangplank from one. It's hard to tell. Either way, let's move on to the next screenshot. I figured I'd have a look at another screenshot with a bike in. I don't think this is a Sanchez, although it's something of the type. Right? It's definitely an off-roader. You can tell by the wheels. Where we are, in fact, we seem to be out in the middle of the sticks somewhere. Obviously, probably one of the trails which we've got laid out across the map. Somewhere for us to have a race. It could just be a public path, anywhere like that. Okay. I'd imagine that this is just a race of some kind. I can't tell you who's riding, but he is wearing specialist clothing, and it has been confirmed that there will be businesses around Los Santos where you can buy different equipment for different things. Alright, you've got leisure, you've got upper class, you've got middle class, you've got the less expensive stuff, sort of like a Binko's or whatever. Different things like that will enable you to buy different clothing for different stuff. And I don't know if you want to participate in some of these activities. Maybe you're going to have to go and have these equipment, like with the deep sea diving kind of stuff. I'd imagine you're going to need the equipment in order to do that, and if you're going to be a pilot, if you're going to go through and do it in the activity, you've got to be Trevor, who is obviously a qualified trained pilot. Maybe Michael wouldn't get in there so easily. It has been confirmed that Rockstar, have special activities in mind for different characters. So maybe this is one of the things. Of course, we've seen, Franklin on a motorbike before outside Bahama Mamas. So different things are doing different stuff. But this guy's wearing equipment, all right. And I think that's what that's the key thing to be having a look at. Good idea is to have a look at the mud that's being kicked up by that bike. Also indicates that the effects on the floor are quite realistic now, unlike before it. Where mud and stuff got kicked up, but it wasn't quite as detailed as we can see here. I'd also like to think that the bikes are going to get proper dirty, and the car's going to need to be cleaned. And if you're going to have something that's respectable and you want to look good with it, you're going to have to take some time and effort into making it be that. It's not just going to be bing done. It's just, I'd like to see some effort go in here. Interesting thought though. I quite like this screenshot. It's very nice, it's very vibrant. You can see all the textures going on in the background, and the further you get away and the higher you go, the less you can see, which is exactly what would happen in real life. So, thumbs up, Rockstar. Next one is of Trevor. Once again, I love Trevor. I love the character of Trevor. I just think he's so insane. Alright, if you were to tell me about these three trailers that went out a while back, and you would say, which one did you like most? I'd say I liked Michael's trailer the most because of the music and how it kind of fit. But as a character, I prefer Trevor, just because he's so crazy, alright, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. Anyway, let's have a look at this screenshot. In the background, of course, explosions going on. It could just be a raging fire, although I think it could potentially be a mix of the two. Obviously, I think the petrol tank's gone and that car that's gone off in the background there. Can't tell you what weapon he's holding, although it is definitely some kind of high-grade military weapon of some description, or it could just be a civilian weapon. A lot of these things, there is going to be an airbase in Los Santos, okay? So some stuff could be military, some stuff not so much, alright? I'm British, I've got to admit, guns aren't my forte. We don't have guns over here. The guns we do have are normally, armed, from old fellas that have been kind of shooting the same weapons for years and years and years. We don't have all this fancy stuff. Some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. So I'm not the best with weapons, however, I can tell you that does look like a variation of some description of something like an M4, an M16, something like that, alright? It just looks like a shorter version of the M4 to me. I may be wrong, I might not be. If you know what that is, let me know. I'll stick it in an annotation. I'm all for people coming forward and let me know what's what. Anyway, Trevor, he's got some kind of balaclava on, probably not hiding his identity. Some of that, maybe. Part of it will probably be to, kind of stop himself from inhaling anything nasty, or just to make himself look more intimidating. It's been confirmed that we'll be able to change clothes, like I said, and you can see here that Trevor's wearing his sleeves rolled up, and he's probably got some kind of, different trousers on of some description. He's got to freshen up from time to time, you'd think, but yeah, he just goes out and gets dirty again, so it doesn't really matter. Where are we here? I can't really tell. There isn't too much indication. You can see some posters in the background. I'd imagine police are dying left, right and centre in front around just out of shot, because obviously he's got his gun, he's obviously ready to shoot, or he's just shot somebody and he's going in to have a look at the damage. So lovely screenshot. I do like what some of these screenshots put forward and what we can just draw from them. Okay, so that's why I like to take my time with them. I'm just enjoying making these videos, and I don't want to rush them. I keep saying that. So hopefully, if you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and click the like button below. I'd appreciate that very much indeed. I'm kind of trying to go up the ladder a little bit. If you want to subscribe, that'd be good as well. Also, a quick note on that gun thing. Let me know, because honestly, I have no idea. I did try to look up, but it's very difficult to pinpoint something. I might be right in that the stock and the stock and the first part of the barrel does look like an M4. I really have no idea. I do try to do my research for this stuff, but some stuff you just cannot do. So yeah, I've been Ruth399. Thank you very much for watching. If you would do whatever, and I'll see you in a bit.